Alright, you put in 3 cups, let's put about 4 cups of flour. Put in about 1 teaspoon, about 2, a tablespoon. Let's put about a tablespoon of baking powder. And about a teaspoon of yeast. Put in about a cup or a little more of water. We finish the flour here. And you have to leave it to rest. Let's leave it to rest about half an hour. You have to need it soft. So we'll leave this to raise now. Okay, we go in and peel the potato. Or the aloo. And after you peel it, you have to cut it up in pieces to put it in a bowl. So we'll start cutting it. So we have potatoes already peeled here already. So you're cutting it. Alright, we are going to put the potato to boil. And you put some salt. And you're leaving this to boil until it's tender. Alright, let's see. It is finished now. So we are taking out the stove and we are going to crush. You get a potato crusher and you crush the potato. Right, we finished with that now. This is how the dough will be. Okay, we are going to boil out the dough. We are going to cut it in pieces. Sprinkle a little flour that it wouldn't stick. We are going to cut the green seasoning. This is French thyme or big leaf thyme. This is some basil, some chive or green onions. And this is the garlic here. We already grate the garlic. We're cutting it very fine because we're going to put it in a potato. Right, let's check the potato now. Oh yes, it's boiling, but it can take a little longer. So we'll leave it for a little 5 minutes again. All right, we are throwing the green seasoning and the garlic into the potato now. We'll put a little curry. A little cayenne pepper. And a little jeera. Right, and we'll close back the pot and leave that to cook for a little while. Right, that's it, cut. Now you flat the dough and you put a tablespoon into the dough of the potato and you close it like this. Start to burst. This one. Right, and we put it into the frying pan, the hot oil.
Then you notice?
I burn myself. We'll do a next one.
Our menu today is bake and saltfish. But first of all, we'll concentrate on the bake. We have the flour here. We'll use at least 3 cups of flour. And we have our coconut here. We have a grater. We'll just remove this coconut from the shell and grate it. But we already have some grated ones here. We are going to mix this into the flour with some yeast, a little yeast, some baking powder, at least a teaspoon of baking powder. And if you prefer, you can add oil or butter, and a pinch of salt. So now we are going to mix our flour. We have the water here. We are going to incorporate the coconut with the flour and mix until the flour has turned into a bulk. Now we are making this bake where Granny used to make coconut bake. In times past, we used to have it on firestone with fire on top and fire below. But today, we have oven, but this will be pot roast. Mix it, right. Now we have our dough mixed. We will allow it to stand for 15 to 20 minutes so it can rise. So now we'll put this away, cover it, and let it rise for a little while. Now that our dough is complete and is about to rise, we'll go into the process of putting our saltfish to boil. In the first place, it's very salty and we have to get it soaking a little bit. And as you know, saltfish is the traditional things that we use for bake. You can use okra, you can use fried fish, but most of all, most common of all is saltfish. So now that our saltfish is about to boil, we can go and prepare our tomato, onion, other seasoning to go with the saltfish. We are going to put in our bake in the pot nicely. And we are going to pierce it with a fork so that it wouldn't swell too high. In times past, people would put this bake on firestone with fire on top and fire below. But today we have improvised. We have oven and we have pot where we can cook our bake. Now that our saltfish will be cleaned and deboned, we'll put in our ingredients such as the tomato, the garlic, the onion, now that our ingredients, tomato, and is in preparation for the saltfish, we'll just take a look at our bake, how it's coming nicely. Now we are preparing our saltfish while we put it on the fire. Bring to a nice little saute where we can put our saltfish into it. Okay. Now that we have our ingredients on this in the saucepan, we put our saltfish to saute for a few minutes, and then we'll see what is happening here with our bake. While our bake is ready to be turned on the other side. So we will saute our saltfish boljol into the tomato until it's properly incorporated. So now we have our saltfish boljol, and our bake will be ready in a few minutes. We'll just turn our saltfish boljol for a few seconds and we are done. Now our bake is almost complete. We'll turn to the other side. And to know if it's complete, we'll just take a knife and give it a little stick. See that it's well cooked. So that's our coconut bake pot roast style, the way Granny used to make it. So this is the finished product of the coconut bake Granny used to make. Now that our bake is out of the fire and is ready to be served, we are going to cut our bake in triangle slices so each member of the family can get a slice. To go with our saltfish, but we need something to wash this bake down, something like sorrel juice. But we have here the traditional mobi, which comes from the mobi bark. But to make this mobi into the drink, we have to put boiling water. We have to bring water to a boil. And we have our mobi bark, the spice, our bay leaf, and our aniseed. But to make this drink, we have to bring the water to a boil, wash the mobi bark, the bay leaf, and boil for 5 to 10 minutes. Allow to cool. As you can see, we have this already boiled. And we have our sugar for sweetening. But the most welcoming thing in the home is our milk added to the mobi. So we are going to add our milk and sugar and mobi, and we have a delicious drink to go with our saltfish and bake. And the traditional homemade drink, milk, is being added to the mobi and being swizzled with a swizzle stick to bring the taste of the mobi. And to add to this, we have our ice cubes, which we will now mix with our mobi. So this is our menu for today. Bake with mobi and milk.
Right, we are going to make chania porridge. The first thing you do, you put your water in the pot, then you put your water to boil with the with your spices. You have cinnamon. Then we have bay leaf. It all depends the amount you're making. You could put your bay leaf or your cinnamon to suit, you know, what do you think? But so we have about 3 leaves of bay leaf here and a piece of this cinnamon. And you put it to boil while preparing the tanya. These are the tanyas. It all depends on how much you want to make. Because if you have too many tanyas, like it could be too thick, or if you don't have enough tanya, then it would be too thin. It all depends on what type or what, you know, percentage that you want. Right? Then what you do, you peel your tanyas. This is what I'm going to do now, peeling the tanya. Okay, so after you finish peeling the tanya, you wash it. Make sure you take out all the dirt and everything from the tanya. We're going to grate. So we're grating the tanya now. Alright, so when you finish grating the tanya will be like this. So we need to dilute it if you could think about it. So you put some water into it, you wash the grater out to get out all the stuff that is on the grater because you need those things. So you open the pipe slowly and you get it out because you still don't want to put too much water into the thing, but you make sure you get out all the tanya from the grater. And then you get your spoon. It needs to be a wooden spoon because you don't want to get the enamel spoon or the other spoons to thing up the tanya. So you take the spoon, you turn up the tanya, turn it up to get it in a smooth way so that all the heavy lumps and stuff would come out from it. And then you go to the pot. Because at that time your water would be at the highest boiling point. So you take the cover, you realize right, everything is okay, the spices are boiled and everything. Then you started to apply now your tanya into the pot. While doing this, you have to keep turning up because you don't want the tanya to make any lump. So you keep turning it up as long as you are putting the tanya into the pot. If you notice how the tanya is going down now, it's not that thick or lumpy because of the water that you put in it. And okay, after you get all into it, you just keep turning the pot. Make sure that there is no big set of lump. Alright, when you are satisfied that there is no big set of lump, you just leave to boil and it will start to boil on its own. So that's how far we reach. So while the tanya is boiling, you know, what you could do, as you see, we take your milk and you open your milk. Right, you get your opener, or if it's a knife, but whatever one you want to use, and you open your milk. Alright, so and then while you are waiting, you still turn up because sometimes there is little lumps in the Tanya, so you make sure that you turn it up. And wait until you see that it's boiling almost to fall over before you apply your milk, and turn it up, and right there you'll have your Tanya porridge. Now that as you can see, the Tanya is almost ready. Because you see how it's boiling up? Almost, when it reaches almost to the top, we turn up this way. Yeah. Turn up the stove. And normally I don't put the condensed milk while the thing is boiling. I don't boil the condensed milk anymore. So you see, if you notice now your Tanya is properly boiled, because it's right almost to spill over. So we turn up the stove, and then we add our milk. You add your milk to suit to how most people don't like plenty sweet things, so I too don't use plenty sweet thing. I add my milk, and you stir it up until you get everything somewhat whitish, clear. If you could notice, while you're turning up, you have two different colors in the pot. See if you get the pot there. So you make sure you get it. You want to get it to this color here. This is still the Tanya, and here is where you're getting the milk and thing turning up. So you turn it up until you get the milk dissolved properly. All right, then right, just make sure that everything is dissolved, milk and the Tanya, everything is mixed up together, and there we go. We have Tanya porridge. You taste to see how sweet it is, or if it's not sweet enough, you could add some more milk. But then you always have milk in the tin remain, so that people who wanted a little sweeter could always use the milk to their liking. You gotta be very careful because these does be real hot, and you don't want to burn your tongue, so you make sure that you're all right. It's okay for me. I don't know what everybody is. So we have a complete pot of Tanya porridge. If there is anybody who wants to get a taste, you could come right up and have your Tanya porridge. So this is Tanya porridge. Everybody will have some, so then you do it with different serving. Okay, this is how we serve it to everybody. This is what you call Tanya porridge.
I'm going to make a pilau like my mama used to. First I season the meat, cut up the meat and season it. And then I'll cook it together with rice, pigeon peas, coconut milk, and whatever. Yeah, I'm cutting up the meat. Yep. Even, in those days, they used to grate coconut, but we don't grate coconut now. We blend up our coconut, which is very much easier. Well, I'm going to make pilau like Mama used to. I have my meat already cleaned. I'm going to season it now. I add salt, not too much. A little lemon juice. And seasoning already grounded. A little black pepper. That's about it for the seasoning. Our seasoning consists of thyme, garlic, onion, celery, and chive. I'm getting a little mint smell. Yeah. So that's about it for the seasoning. It will rest for a little while, at least 15 minutes, not too long. The rice to brown. So I put my oil and my sugar to burn so that the rice would get a little color. Oh, it's brown color. I take the rice. I have to wash my rice. You can mess it up with me. About 3 cups of rice. Wash while my sugar is burning, a little browning. As soon as the sugar is brown enough, I'll add the rice to it. And a little salt for taste. And lower the fire so that it wouldn't burn too much or dry down too quickly. Okay, so I'm going to cook my meat now. Add a little oil. And add some sugar for browning. Yep. I have to wait for the sugar to get a certain color so I can put my meat. Okay, so I'll put the meat in now. Oh yes. Okay. I don't have to go that far. Yep. Let's stir my pot. And that's, so this will brown. And cover. And leave for a little while I see about my rice now. So you grate your coconut, like, you know, like Mama used to do it. Yeah. You squeeze out the milk from it, and that's what we use in order to already have some already blended here. So I'll add it to my rice. This is rather thick. Oh yes. And this will have it on a very low, not very low fire, but just right for cooking. And add a little more water. And when the rice is almost cooked, then you will add the peas and the meat. When the meat cooks, I'll have to add the meat into the rice. So let that simmer for a while. The meat is cooking here. And I'm just stirring the pot, checking to see if the rice is cooked, but it isn't as yet. So just add a little water. I think I should add my peas now. So I'm going to add the peas to the rice. Yep. Stir for a while. And add some taste. No, because it's almost cooked. Yeah, I'm going to add the meat to the rice. Yep. Yep. And sometimes you don't really add the meat to the rice. You just do it as on the side. But in this case, we put in the meat in the rice. At least that's how we used to do it. My mother used to do it long ago. Oh, yes. And then you stir this and let it dry until ready to eat. It wouldn't be too long. I want to taste this, but I don't want the camera to see. Okay, well, this is the finished product. So I'm going to dish out some. You seen me good? Yeah, I'm going to dish out some. Nowadays, they garnish it with either coleslaw or potato salad or macaroni salad. But this is the old-time way, so we will be using it as is. This is the finished product. So, like, now we would add a little garnish to it, like lettuce and tomatoes, or even coleslaw, potato salad, or one of them, whichever you choose. But this is the way Mama used to do it. She cook it like that, and we eat it like that.
I am going to make chili bibi the way it was made when I was a child. First you have the corn here, and now I'm going to put the corn to parch. But before I put the corn, I am going to grease the pot so it would not burn. Now I'm putting the corn. I have to move the corn around like a modern corn popper, so it will not burn. If it should remain in one place, it will burn. So we have to toss it around. Now the corn is parching. Can you see it? The color has changed and it is almost ready to go into the mortar. As I said before, this is the way my mother made it when I was a child. Chili bibi. I think it is ready now, and this is ready now for the mortar. I'm adding nutmeg now, just a little bit, a pinch of salt, some but this is too small. We had a much larger one in my day when I was a child, a much larger day, and we did that. We had no electrical device like this. So, but I'm going to do it now in a blender. The corn is there. Parched corn is in, and the blender is on now. This is the modern way of making chili bibi. I do not know if our parents will appreciate this. It was so much fun with the mortar and pestle. This is the finished product, chili bibi, Mama's style. And it is served, it was served when I was a child on a piece of brown paper. But one thing, you have to have some water and make sure you don't talk while you're eating it. So this is the finished product, chili bibi. But there's a little caution here. Make sure you have a glass of water sitting by and do not talk when you're enjoying it. Enjoy. This is the way you eat it, but don't make your nose get into it. Good.
Hi everyone, I am Victoria Elder, and today I'm going to make for you a delicious dish that's called the eggplant casserole. To do this, it's a very simple dish. It's also a nutritious dish. To do this, you need 2 medium-sized eggplants, 1 onion, 1/4 pound mushrooms, some coconut oil, 3 cloves of garlic, 1 can of tomato sauce, some dried basil, some dried oregano, and just salt and pepper to taste, and 3 cups of cheese. So I have my oven preheated at, say, let's say about 200 degrees Celsius, and now I'm going to slice my eggplant. Slice them not too thinly, but just thick enough, average the thickness. While I'm slicing the eggplant, I have the oven preheated at 200 degrees Celsius. So now I'm going to place the eggplants, the sliced eggplants, on a dish. I have to use more than one. I have to use another dish to accommodate all these slices. And as soon as this is completed, I'll place them in the oven for about 20 minutes. So they are in the oven for about 20 minutes, and then while that is in the oven, I'm going to just cut up the onions and the garlic so we make the sauce while the melangin or the eggplant is being baked. Within 20 minutes time, they should be brown at the top and cooked, partly cooked. We are about to make the sauce now, and so I'm going to place this saucepan on medium heat and just I'll heat 1 teaspoon of, sorry, not a teaspoon, a tablespoon of coconut oil. So let's just let the coconut oil heat a little bit before I put in my onions and garlic. Now I put in my onions and garlic. And I'm going to stir it. To this I add some dried basil. Just about 3/4 teaspoon of dried basil and 3/4 teaspoon of oregano. We're going to continue stirring. I now add my mushrooms. of eggplant. Then I put some sauce, some of the sauce. With some cheese. Then I put another layer of eggplant. And this is just fine. So now I place the rest of the sauce on this top layer. And now I top it off with the rest of cheese. And this will be placed in the oven at a lower temperature, say for about at about 175 degrees Celsius, and we are going to leave it there for the next 25 minutes when it will be done. So here we go. In the oven for the next 25 minutes. So it's about time now, it's about that time when we look or take out our finished product. And this is our eggplant casserole. Now before serving, this must rest about 5 minutes, cool for 5 minutes before serving. So this is the finished product, our eggplant casserole.